dear holy hot drink. Look at Bob. Ooh. Look at all that ice in Bob's drink. Do you think I'm not coming after that with my hand?
Oh, me too. Like, what the hell? Ice thief.
I already had ice.
I thought y'all had some already.
That's funny. You're like living on high on the hog over here,
Devil's
and we're
Reserve.
just
That's Devil's Reserve.
Seriously?
Jeez, mine's like water.
Mine's hot as
the rest
nads.
of that bottle that was in the fridge, I it so.
How do you drink that? Like, this gets me so beyond intoxicated. Hey, I thought you were going to dig in for some ice while you had that. Like, just grab it with my...
Put it in. Yeah. I know where your hands have been.
That's hilarious.
Don't put them in there.
What? They're always under my butt.
Mm-hmm. It's a nice
it's the warmest spot.
Yeah.
Well, that in your vagina. Yeah. I always put my hands in my vagina.
I'm sure
Not in.
I'm sure you do.
Around.
Al Bundy?
Yes.
Al Bundy.
It seriously is the warmest spot. Yeah. Am I right? Yeah, you're growing. Not inside.
When I
guys.
sleep and I've got like pants on with pockets, I will sleep on my side and I'll put my hand in
your pocket.
Yeah.
You know what I realized the other day? I have woken up multiple times like this. That's how I sleep.
Like a chipmunk?
With my teeth out. And I'm like, oh God, Luke, I'm so sorry. Can you imagine
waking up? So you're like
up
just smiling?
I'm like this. Yeah. I just realized it.
I sleep under my hands. Like I said, my hands are always under my butt. And then
really?
I'll wake up and I can't feel my hands
I mean,
anymore.
yeah. Are we going?
I see.
Hilarious stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
I toss and turn so much throughout the night. I don't have like a certain like position, but the most comfortable I am is on my side, like snuggled up. You know Squishmallows? Those pillow thing?
Yeah.
My daughter gave me one, and I cannot sleep without it. Yeah. It's the most comfortable thing.
Ellen's
I recommend
got like
it
8
constantly.
pillows. I think I have 2. And dogs, of course.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm lucky because Remy, who is my size, chooses to sleep on Luke's side, sprawled out.
She sleeps in your bed?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's no
Wow.
there's no getting her down. And now we have one of our cats who's in love with our dog, thinks she's a dog, sleeps right there next. So now Luke has to contend with the dog and the cat. And I guess what I'm saying is, Bob, you were right. I was just going to throw that in there.
It took a while to get to that.
Wait, right about what?
Okay, so we were talking the other day about the tax rate for Quincy. I argued for the school. Well, we were talking about so what we were talking about was when you travel north, the sporting, the schools even, or the
Metro East or Pickett Place. Yeah.
They're just incredible places with jumbotrons and, I guess
They just have nicer amenities.
They do, and I was saying that they just are given more money through whether it's grants or whatever, and it was argued that they just pay higher taxes, and I didn't think that was the case. Turns out I was maybe wrong. I was wrong. I will concede, and I will do so with...
I also noticed that that she didn't admit that until David convinced her.
Okay, but
No, because I saw the guy who commented on social media, and I almost liked it, but I was like, I don't know this guy. If he's a schwaz, I'm not going to give him kudos.
But I think you were also implying the fact that you said we were on the lower end of places similar size to us, right? For property taxes.
Like large unit school districts.
So comparing
like
apples
ours.
to apples.
Yes.
And I think her point was that those other school districts have nicer amenities and stuff like that.
Yes.
Or even places to live, for that matter.
Yeah, because they pay for it.
Well, they have...
No, they are, if you said like districts,
large school district. Quincy's enrollment, Quincy's one of the biggest high school enrollments in the state.
So are we comparable to Springfield?
Yes.
Then what, I haven't been in
think-
Springfield in a really long time, but they, I think,
It's a big
have
Quincy.
more amenities than Quincy. I don't think Springfield's streets look like ours. I don't think...
We're not talking about streets, we're talking about schools.
So schools, when
talking
I'm
about
saying...
But aren't we talking about property taxes?
We were talking about schools.
But
That was
property
what I was
taxes feed
getting
directly
to.
into
Yes.
education. So what I kind of equate it to is Springfield may have higher, more... The amount of houses that have higher property taxes may be more in Springfield. So they may be getting more money. Is that right? Am I like talking about it like that?
I believe the city tax rates and the county tax rates in those other places, I believe, are more expensive. I think you're right in that case.
Okay.
Oh!
But we weren't talking about that. We were talking about schools.
We are now. I'm right.
Schools.
I thought we were talking about property
No, we were talking
taxes.
about schools.
Okay.
We were talking about school
Well,
taxes.
so here's what I will say.
School taxes are property taxes, though.
They go hand in hand. Here's what I will say. I am right in the fact that I believe I mentioned that what we get from what education gets from property taxes is not it's not enough to properly pay our teachers. Did I say that? Everybody agrees with that?
Oh, you can say that. Sure.
Okay, so I do agree with that.
Yeah!
But then, right? So I'm right on that.
Yeah,
I
right,
also
right.
believe that if we are paying, whatever the amount of property taxes, I don't know that we are using those appropriately, maybe. So there's no argument there. But I think that there's opportunity to. The whole thing we were talking about was the lights.
Yeah.
Right? And
Just the fact that the baseball and football facilities at Quincy
Yeah.
High School are not nearly as good as any other,
Right.
hardly any other schools they play.
but comparatively, the football field is way nicer than
Well, and
the
of course,
baseball
Blue
and
Devil
softball.
Gym, but
So-
Blue Devil Gym also gets a heck of a lot of private donations.
Right.
They don't take, if somebody says, hey, I want to give the basketball program X dollars, I mean, the school district were to say, put it all in one pot and we'll divvy it out, then maybe that person doesn't say, well, I'm sorry, I want to go to basketball, and if basketball doesn't get it all, I'm not giving it to you.
Really?
So, I'm
Do
not
we
saying
think
that
people
does or
would do
doesn't happen.
that? Yeah.
Blue
that's
Devil basketball?
unfortunate.
Come on.
Well,
Yeah.
I do think there's probably a better way to do it. Also, just to kind of summarize that, there were people who listened to that, got conversations started. I had some really good feedback on the discussion, and I think that regardless of if I was wrong or right, I was wrong. No, I'm kidding. I gotta concede. Okay, so on the tax rate, I was definitely wrong. But the view on the whole conversation, I think we were all on the same page. And I think that people really tend to agree with what we had to say, which isn't necessarily why we're here every week, but it does help to know that what we're saying isn't falling on deaf ears when we're discussing things, which kind of feeds into tonight's conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but before we get into tonight's conversation,
Yeah.
how about my shirt?
Dude, listen, when David said he had never seen a, what did he call it?
Camisole.
I
He called it
He
a
called it a
camisole.
camisole, which
I
is
was
totally wrong, David.
It's just a
Adams,
lacy
but-
jersey.
Thank you. It's neither team, but I do have my red on because I kind of am a.
The red's underneath, and
Yeah.
that's off-white, right? You're not going to wear white, right? It's off-white.
Why?
Oh,
It's
honey.
white.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Sure,
Wait,
it's white.
Hey, listen,
Wait, are you saying I can't wear white?
I'm not saying, that's not what I said.
I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying that.
You are pure.
It looks off-white.
You are pure.
I can wear white.
It looks
She's
off,
pure.
just say it looks off-white.
Mike will tell you she's so pure.
Yeah.
White
Anyway,
is my good color.
so you are Kansas City Chiefs.
Just because,
ish?
well, honestly, sports and
Yeah.
I don't care. But I've always leaned towards the local-ish team, like
Closest to us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
proximity.
yeah.
And a lot of my friends are Chiefs fans, and I like their mascot Taylor Swift much better than the eagle.
Yeah.
The eagle is pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
Like how it flies
Pretty
all
neat.
around. And
Yeah.
I actually went to college with the dude who wears the KC Wolf mascot uniform. He was in my class.
See, I didn't even know what the mascot was. I
Casey
thought it was.
Wolf.
Oh, I thought it was like a.
No.
No.
They got rid of the horse. They got rid of the Indian on the horse.
Well, they
a long
still do
time
the
ago.
thing.
No, still they still do the chop. And,
Yeah.
So and they're still the Chiefs. I mean, it's
And
an Arrowhead
you know,
logo. So.
I think that the only reason people are anti-Chiefs is because once you get so good, people are like, enough's enough, right?
My problem is I know people
that have been
have been
diehard
Chiefs
lifelong.
since
Yeah.
the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
You know. Then I know all these people who just started giving a shit within the last since Patrick Mahomes got good. So those people are
And then Taylor Swift.
because you're on the bandwagon. These are probably people who were Yankees and Cowboys fans when they were good, and Lakers
Yeah.
fans, and now hey, I'm
What we
gonna
call
be a
those,
bandwagon.
there you go.
The
fan.
Chiefs
Yes.
apparel is like way nice though too.
Well, you have
color
more
scheme, you mean?
options because
The red
they.
and yellow. Yeah.
I guess not necessarily red and yellow, because to me that like reminds me always of McDonald's in the back of my head.
Yeah.
I used to have
Yeah,
a red
yeah,
and
yeah.
yellow Chiefs
Now I'm
jersey. I
always
was
gonna
like,
think
I
of
don't
that.
want to do that.
Yeah.
No, I just mean like the apparel altogether. Maybe I'm just saying it because it's local.
Well, and their
But-
organization is worth a shit ton of money.
Well, all
So-
NFL teams are.
Yeah.
I would love to do some research on how much the Kansas City
There's plenty of
Comparative
information. The Dallas
to
Cowboys
the-
are the most
compared to the Eagles, we'll say.
Yeah.
the Dallas Cowboys are the most valuable
Still?
NFL team. Yes.
Still.
In terms of dollars, yes. Believe it or not.
Do we want to make another wager?
No, you don't want to make another wager on this one.
Listen, I am a football fan
But the
now.
Chiefs are way up there. Yes, they are.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
are
yeah.
way up there. Chiefs and the Patriots and teams
Yeah.
like that. Yes. So.
So I think here's what I think. I'll be very diplomatic. Anybody who's rooting for the Chiefs, and I know a lot of friends and associates and community members who are definitely going for the Chiefs. I hope you win. And here's what I'll say to the Eagles fans: I hope you win. Right? Because I don't have any.
I just hope they both have fun.
Yeah.
And honestly,
both teams just have fun.
I have two of my best friends. One of my best friends is a Kansas City Chiefs fan, and the other is an Eagles fan, and both have really good reasons behind it. So they who were out the other day, they were like, "Are you coming to my football party? Are you coming to my Super Bowl party?" I was like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna stay home this time.
Make
I
some
can't
casseroles.
pick, and we definitely can't have it all together because
yeah. No,
you
I don't
know
want that.
Why? I think that would be fun.
it absolutely would. but-
No, I'm betting on the Eagles. I'm betting on Saquon Barkley to have a good day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's
So the Eagles is your team that you're hoping for, obviously, because you want to win your
For
bets.
my-
Look at that head shake.
for
She is
my
not happy.
money, yeah,
That
for
lace
my
jersey
financial-
is
those-
not feeling it.
for that.
I mean, like-
for that $5 to $10 that I'm betting per bet. Sure, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
But that's who you want to win.
No, I hate
deep
the
down.
Eagles because I'm a Cowboys fan. Because they're in my division. I
So
don't
why
like
are
the
you betting?
Eagles.
Because you just
I
are
think
not-
they're going to win.
Really?
I'm betting with my head
Do they
and
have
not my heart.
Do they have the? What do you call it? Over under? Over? Under?
The
Over-under?
Chiefs are favored, I believe.
Yeah.
And then the over/under was in the mid to upper 40s. But I'm gonna bet the over. I'm betting the over. I'm betting the Chiefs, or I'm betting the Eagles, the over, and Saquon Barkley to have a big day.
'Kay.
Score a touchdown, have over 100 yards.
I think Saquon Barkley is. I think big things are going to happen with him. This is just my prediction. I don't know if it's rigged or not. Just shoot me if you
not
want.
rigged.
But yeah, okay, who knows? But if it is, then it's going to be like the Saquon and the Barkley-Mahomes showdown. I wonder who's going to get hurt first, and I wish that were a bet.
Nobody's gonna get hurt.
Mahomes
can't
always
be-
hurts his
you
ankle.
wish
Oh,
that
he'll be
were-
No, but I
bet.
remember the one time that Mahomes got his little ankle twisted, and they showed him babying it for the next 4 hours of the game. And I was like, really, guys, there's a football game happening. Get off his ankle. Do you remember that?
Kind
I
of.
was so aggravated. That was when I first started getting into it because I love the soap opera of it, which it is now.
Oh, it's absolutely a soap
very
opera.
much a soap opera.
Absolutely soap opera.
Yeah.
So, but no, yeah. So it's gonna be a lot of fun Sunday. Again, I got to get all my bets in because I think we're gonna go to Missouri to watch the game, and you can't.
Ooh,
bet
and you
in-
can't do
can't
that.
bet in Missouri.
I
Can't
just
do any
figured that
live
out.
bets during the game at all. So
Like it'll
like,
shut
okay.
off on your phone.
It doesn't
because
let
it's
you
on-
access the app.
Can't access the app. Yeah. Because
Yeah, it's
Missouri,
kinda like
even though
Pornhub.
Missouri's legalized it, I wouldn't know about that.
What do you mean?
Even though Missouri's legalized it, they haven't activated it
Well,
yet.
tell me
Yeah.
this about Pornhub. Where
So
can you not
I don't
watch-
know for sure. This is what I've
What's
heard.
Pornhub?
I don't know. I've heard that it's this like weird app. But anyway, when you're in different states, it has different modes
Settings?
of access
That's
or
crazy. I never
lack
heard that.
thereof. Yeah, yeah. So
Well-
there you have
So
it.
if you type in Brittany Bowl,
You're not. I'm
not
not
gonna
signing up an
find
account for her, meaning me. Although, let's not give anybody ideas here.
Oh
Okay.
my
Anyway,
God,
so
do not make me an account.
oh my gosh, your algorithm would be such a
be
mess.
fire.
Oh my God, that'd be amazing. Anyway, so
Sports.
football.
And I think what drives sports more than anything?
Food,
Food,
booze.
health,
Yep.
Money.
Money.
Health about football?
No, like-
Super Bowl, yeah. A lot of healthy food at a Super Bowl party.
I'm
No,
not
but the
talking
players
about
have to be
that.
healthy,
The
maybe?
players
Yeah.
themselves
Training.
have to be healthy.
Unless you're a 380-pound defensive lineman and your
And
job
some of
is
those
to
boys
stop
are big, and I'm
Oh, yeah.
thinking,
Oh, yeah.
how
What
the
do they eat?
hell are
as
you
much as they want.
even running? If I were out on
They
that
don't have to
football field,
run. They just have to plug the line.
doesn't matter. Do you know how much energy they have to expel?
Oh, they
and
do.
that's
Yeah.
insane to me. Yeah, so this is why
What's
I say
the
hope-
average lifespan of football players?
For a player in the
Good
for a player who actually
question.
makes the NFL 4 years.
no
No,
lifespan.
God,
Oh my
the
God, 4
life-
years
Oh,
old.
lifespan.
They don't even
Oh,
make
no,
it to
I'm talking 4 years as their career.
playing
length of
time.
career.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
like,
yeah. No,
after
lifespan
they're
after they
done-
play.
I'd
What
have to look
have
that
they
up.
done to their heart? What
Good
have
question.
They done
The
to
CTE
Most of the time it's
and
the
the- yeah.
What about the new helmet thingies? The Angel Guardians. No, it's Guardians. Guardian helmet, right? They look
special helmets.
They look ridiculous, but they do. But I can imagine.
Do they all wear them?
Some guys do. If some guys with a history of concussions
people that have
will wear
concussions. So did you ever watch that document? Whoa, we're getting way off. But the documentary on who was it that went to prison for killing his
O.J. Simpson.
No, but
Aaron Hernandez.
That's who it is.
Yeah, and then Junior Seau, they did it for his brain too.
Yes, it's so intriguing that the injuries that they get playing football lead to these like kind of psychotic breaks.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah, CTE is a real thing.
Yeah, it's so these Guardian helmets. As much as I laugh because they are, I mean, they look a little ridiculous. You would think with as much technology as we have, we could probably do it a little bit more
better aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, a little more inconspicuously. But so then you see that one guy out there. Oh my God, you have to. So you see the one guy out there, and you're like, oh, there's that.
He's been hit in the head a couple of times.
But then when he gets hit, you're like, oh my God, is he okay? Because it's, and then when you really start watching and you see these hard hits, you're like, oh God, I hope nobody really gets hurt because the potential is there. It is.
Yeah.
So, and then when you have people fighting over, who's going to win and shit could get dirty. Don't get dirty over freaking football, right? Don't get angry. Don't get violent.
Right. Yeah.
Leave that on the field.
Leave it on the field. Don't try to intentionally hurt
anybody. I do that's another stat I'd like to know. How many bar fights happen on Super Bowl Sunday versus the other day? See, these are things we need to Google.
A more house party event, though. And you talk to guys who own bars, and they're like, some people show up, sure, but a lot of people just come to their houses so they can do all their own food and everything.
Yeah. But I know a lot of places around town are doing, like special things,
and that's they're trying to get people in. Sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's always a good reason to celebrate. Anyway, sports.
So sports,
health,
fitness.
Makwa is what we're talking about.
I don't even know if that's good. Somebody else could come at us with a better name.
Okay, so on Coffee Talk this last week, we spoke briefly about the taxes, the grocery taxes coming up. That is a 1% tax that was passed down, like it was eliminated at the state level and now is being passed down to city government. City government has to then decide if they're going to keep this. We pointed out that a lot of people are saying, hey, you have your Democratic governor or eliminating the tax, and now you're going to have your conservative aldermen implementing it, which brought up the point that I like to say all the time. Politics or, party politics do not belong at the local level.
Yeah.
No partisan at the local level, because then you have things like this come about. Ashley and I came up with, I thought was a brilliant idea, and we're right now calling it Makwa.
It's not a great name, but it's
not a great name.
It goes after
Indian princess.
It goes after like Make America Healthy Again. We want to make Quincy healthy again. And I think that there's a really good way to do this.
Yes.
Right?
So we take the grocery tax. Let's put that on the side real quick. We're also going to, in the process of this, because the food and beverage tax is coming up in a sunset clause in June, I am saying eliminate the food and beverage tax.
And why do we want to do that?
Because the main reason is that falls back on your servers and the industry workers. That is a lot of what makes up this community.
It typically hits small businesses and the service industry workers. It hits their pocket.
Aren't they going to stop tax and tips? Won't that help?
Oh, because how many servers?
I don't know.
You know how much I declare on my cash tips?
Yeah, so thank you for that one.
Yeah, that's another smoke and mirrors.
Okay,
I'm glad they're eliminating the IRS, so we won't have to worry about you guys getting audited. So okay.
Yeah, about that.
I claim everything.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, for sure.
Try
Amen.
God, Bob, you're always ruining a good
God.
time. So
Fun vampire. Anyway, go ahead.
Back to our plan. We're eliminating the food and beverage tax. We're eliminating the grocery tax because that also kind of falls on, like you said, it's an overall equal tax for everyone. Everyone uses groceries, but it's also hitting lower income people harder. These are essential items that, everyone needs to eat.
Yeah.
Everyone needs their food. going out to eat is a little bit more of a luxury, so I do understand where that tax is there. But again, I'm trying to speak for the industry people in our community. I think our local establishments would flourish much more than they have been lately if that tax was eliminated. I know it's just, but what are we going to do to make up for that tax? We are going to implement a new tax. So you got your 1%. I'm going to say, let's go 2.5%. I don't have numbers.
Food and beverage 1.5%?
Food and beverage is 1% right now.
Food and beverage is 1 too. Okay.
They proposed it for being 2, but it got knocked down to 1 because the public didn't like it. It's primarily like kind of how that went down. Now, they knew when they knocked it down to 1 that we have potential to bring it back up to the 2 once that sunset thing happens, maybe. Or there is the option to eliminate it altogether.
Yeah.
That we learned when the firefighters came on that they're wanting to kind of use that food and beverage tax now for pensions instead of what it is used for. It is used for tourism.
Right.
They also revealed on that podcast that it was sold to them as always going to be a means for pensions,
right?
Which the food and beverage tax is most definitely not. Again, that was what they told us. I don't really know.
We don't. We just believe.
Yeah, I mean, I believe what I've heard from people.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't
but it was sold
that,
to the rest of the public as tourism. So how do we get that tourism money, that pension money, and that if we're eliminating these taxes, we put on a different kind of grocery tax. It's a grocery tax where you're taxed 2.5% on your food that is not fresh food. I don't want to say
junk food. Essential. Yeah. So basically, when you're looking at
rice, is like a box of rice, isn't
so
junk food. But I'm thinking anything that isn't fresh.
Okay.
So when you're looking at a grocery store, it's obvious that you have to go through the shit food to get to. So you start out in like the veggies and fruit, right?
Yeah.
And then you go around and there's cheese, and then you go around and there's milk. So almost every grocery store has the non-essential or the commodities located in the center of your store.
Yeah, you walk in, there's the produce.
Right. So the idea with this would almost kind of mirror a fair tax. So you get to choose if you pay this 2.5% tax if you shop in the middle of the store. Now, I don't know, I'm sure there are more complexities involved than what we're thinking, but if the city has, the freedom to instate this grocery tax, does it have to be black or white? Or can they put caveats in there that says you'll only be taxed on non-essentials? So you're not going to get taxed on bread, what she was saying, non-perishables. You're not going to get taxed, or perishables.
Eggs, because they're so expensive already.
Right? And so everything that when you're walking around so fruits, veggies, eggs, cheese, milk, right? Those things will not be taxed. But the middle of the store.
No, beer will be taxed.
Beer will be taxed, probably even heavier, but that's okay because it's a choice.
Taxed.
So then it kind of gives you the best of both worlds. You're still grabbing those tax dollars because people will still buy it because it's convenient, right?
Also because you
will.
kind of have to have some of those things.
But I do. I mean, okay, I know that Kraft mac and cheese and those little they're not convenient, they're not healthy.
But they're convenient.
So I'm probably still going to do that. But
they're delicious.
They are also. So then you have, it kind of works threefold or fourfold, really, if you think about it. So you can instate a 2.5% tax on the grocery tax, going from the 1% that's kind of proposed. Get rid of the food and beverage tax that kind of hits people where it counts when you're in the small business or the service industry. Get rid of that. 2.5 for grocery, but only on commodity. I think I'm saying that right. Like the items that you don't necessarily need, but that you want, the convenience of it, the junk food stuff. So not only are you choosing if you want to pay the tax, right? It also will point out the healthier items, making Quincy healthy again, MAQA, right?
I like the name.
I'm not sold on it, so if anybody has better, but it's just folded after.
Also, to people that are going to say, well, with the food and beverage tax, we have a lot of people that come from out of town and contribute to that. I think we've already established the out-of-town people that are coming, I mean, they're technically a part of this community. No, they aren't in the district.
They're still spending money in
But
the
they're
grocery
still spending
stores.
money here. They're also going to our grocery
Yeah.
stores. So, like,
Yeah.
I'm guessing
And I think
they
if
come
we
to
did-
Not a
town.
lot of grocery stores in the small towns
And you
anymore.
know what?
Except for
So
the
the kind of the delta in prices between health food and junk food, everybody's always complained that, eating healthy is more expensive. This will kind of bridge that gap a little bit, I think, when you have the choice to pay this tax or you can eat health. I think it will balance it out a little. I'm not saying all the way, but it'll also help point out, almost kind of educate people without educating that, yeah, you're going to get taxed higher on it. Maybe guide them to these.
I propose that, and I'm sorry for appointing you, Jason Parrott, but that he could probably, I mean, he's the man that comes up with the plan on a lot of things. This is, I think, an actual decent plan that we should look into, not only for the health of our community,
Pioneering,
the future of our taxes, but the fact of the matter that we could be a pioneer city, and then we could probably maybe even profit off of this in some way, shape, or form.
I think pioneering is something that a city like Quincy could absolutely do, especially when you're given liberties from the state level to instate something like this. And it does, I feel like every time we're brought something from, the city council, it seems like it's black and white. Like it's either this or this, but then it goes back to the drawing board and then there's a lot of concessions and there's some give and take and then we come to the final, okay, I feel like everybody can.
Do we know if any other communities have already tried this?
I don't know.
We were just brainstorming at this table.
Maybe.
Okay.
I know there is such thing as a fair tax, which basically says that luxury items will get taxed more, like a boat, right? So if you buy a boat, you're going to get taxed more than if you buy, of course, naturally diapers, right? Something. I think that's a great plan. I don't know the complexities of it. I don't know all the facets or the variables, but I do think it's something to look into if we have the power to do it on
The city level.
on a city level. If it's getting handed to us, what liberties can we take with it? And I think that's kind of the conversation, as well as, looking into who's tried it, has it worked? I don't necessarily see a downside to it, but maybe there are, because I don't see.
The only downside I can see, and I hate saying the downside of my own or our own plan, is will it produce as much money as what they were wanting?
Yes.
And I mean, I think more
Yes, it will.
people buy groceries than they do when going out to eat, especially nowadays. I don't know.
Old habits die hard. The money that we'll make before people start to sway into this health food, because not everybody likes it. Trust me. I don't. Right? But I at least know that when I'm buying something, I have the choice to be taxed or not. And I think that that's what everybody wants.
Sure.
Right? When you're talking about expenses and more taxes, it's like, I want to have the choice. And this gives that, but also it's inevitable that they're still going to get money from it to bridge that gap that the personal property taxes has left that, is going to bridge that. I swear. I'll
What do you think, Bob?
think on it. What do you think? Yeah, I would love your feedback.
I think it's definitely an issue that's worth exploring.
Yeah.
Do you think we're geniuses?
I think he was a.
I've never thought you weren't.
Thank you.
Aw, you're such a politician. God, I love you so much.
She's still not wearing white, but that's okay.
I don't understand because you're saying I'm not pure.
No, I'm saying that does not look white.
Well, it is
It's
a
kind of
crew.
creamy.
A
Probably
crew.
from my sweat, but it was supposed to be
It's beautiful.
white.
And it's under the lights.
Okay.
And thank you. I appreciate it.
But either way, you look gorgeous, and go red, go green, go whatever.
Go
the hell it is.
whoever.
Yeah.
Go to our next guest. Our
All
guest.
of this is so appropriate.
I know.
So appropriate.
It is.
I hope we have enough time to talk about everything. I doubt it.
I doubt it too.
Yeah.
Our next guest, though, has a lot to do with health, football, sports,
Wellness, mindfulness, community involvement.
Be anxious to hear-
pureness.
Yeah.
I'll be anxious to hear who he thinks will win the Super Bowl. So
Me too.
We'll be right back.
I'm David Adam, and I'm on my way to the Menard Correctional Center in Chester, Illinois for my exclusive interview with Tim Bleefnick. Why'd you want to do this?
The day of when the police came to my house, I had wanted to talk to the police then and was told not to. During the trial, I had wanted to testify on my own behalf and was told not to. Mm-hmm. So the only side of this story, the only information that people have gotten is the other side. And I've learned through this that life is unexpected, and there's no saying that I couldn't have a heart attack tomorrow and die. And I wanted to at least be able to tell the truth, to tell what I know, what I feel. I don't know. It's almost like I haven't been able to speak on my own behalf, and I need to.
Let's get right to the question. Did you kill your wife?
We'll have the full interview with Tim Bleefnick coming soon on Muddy River News.
The Liquor Booth is your home for a huge selection of beer, wine, and spirits. The Liquor Booth has 2 locations in Quincy, 3520 Broadway and 1500 North 12th Street. The Liquor Booth, where it's always happy hour.
And our guest, Sam Dancer, welcome.
Pleasure to be here.
So I got to tell you, I was getting my hair done this morning, and I know, of course, who you are. Who doesn't? I think a lot of people know who you are, especially in this community. I hadn't done any Googling to see what we were going to talk about.
Yeah, did you find anything?
Okay, so okay. So I was sitting there in the chair, and I was like, I'm interviewing Sam Dancer. I get my hair done over at Crush. And she was like, well, how convenient. There was a gal there getting her hair done who works out with you all the time.
Okay.
And she gave me the skinny.
Oh, gosh.
She gave me the scoop. It was all good stuff. And I did some Googling. The first thing I saw was internet personality. Now, it's true. When I looked at the videos, the few videos that I just kind of watched, I was like, you have a larger than life personality. Yeah. And I'm sure it lends to everything you do, which is a lot. You are a multi-dimensional fella.
Wear a lot of hats.
Yeah, but it seems to all culminate like in this great big triangle of health, wellness, love, mind, body, spirit type of stuff. Like it's very cohesive.
That just gave me the chills a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, if there's anything I hope to be remembered for, or if there's a legacy that I leave, it would be summarized in with words like that.
Yeah, well, good. So let's start with
The beginning.
Yeah, at the beginning.
When did you decide like this was going to be your path?
It was kind of, well, to a degree it was accidental, but it really all started, it's funny, I was just messaging him recently, a fellow by the name of Jason Brown. He was the manager at my first like real job. I mean, I worked jobs through high school and college, usually in the summer in between like sports and stuff like that in school. But my first real job, Jason Brown, one day he pulls me into his office and he's like, gosh, what are you doing here, man? He's like, we gotta get you out. I'm like, what? Are you firing me? Like, what is going on? He's like, no, you don't belong here. You need to go. He's like, what do you want to do with your life? What do you love doing? And at that time, I don't know that anyone ever really asked me that question, and I'm not so sure that I'd even asked myself that. I was so used to like the standard narrative of, you know, you go to school, you get your degree, and then after you do that, you go and find something that's relative to your degree, and then you go work that job, and you get a house, and you get married, and, you know, happily ever after. And so yeah, I never really put too much thought into it. And I was like, well, I love fitness, I love training, I love helping people like learn new skills and learn more about nutrition, and nothing stokes me out more than someone coming to know how good they're meant to feel.
Yeah.
Because I myself know what that feels like, and I also know what it doesn't feel like. And sometimes when you're in that, like, where you don't feel good, you get stuck in it, and
Yeah.
it becomes like a normal for you,
yeah.
and you really don't even recognize it anymore as not feeling well. It's just how you are. It's just. And I love helping people come to know and experience how good they're meant to feel.
Yeah.
So I at least knew that much. And he was like, well, how about you like open a gym? And I was like, yeah, that'd be cool. He's like, all right, get in my truck. I'm on the clock. I'm getting paid at this time. And I hop in his truck and we go drive around town, Quincy, Illinois, looking at vacant buildings. And he's like, how about this? How about this? How about this? I'm like, wow, Jason, this is going really quickly.
Overwhelming.
I was like, I don't know how to start a business. He's
Sure.
like, I'll help you. He's like, I want you to put together a business plan, and I'm going to get you some paid time off. He knew about, I'm legally blind, by the way.
Yeah, I was going to get to that because that's I was like, what?
And this is a big part of it. So he was aware of my eye condition, and he was aware that there were some surgeries that I was entertaining. He's like, here's the deal. We're going to book you for those surgeries. You're going to go get them, and I'm going to give you paid time off. That's going to give you time to put together a business plan, bring it to me. I'm going to help you get all organized with it, and you're going to go open a gym.
What a boss.
I know.
Holy shit,
How old
man.
were you at this time?
I would have been 26, 27.
So right out of college?
Fairly, I had a few little jobs after college. I was selling beer at the ballpark. To this day, one of my all-time favorite
ballpark?
jobs. Over at the gym.
Okay.
Gym stadium?
Yeah, loved it.
Cool.
I would overload my container with beer to make it super, super heavy, so that when I was walking up and down the steps, I'd get really good training.
It's like a twofer. Yeah.
Uh-huh. It was awesome.
And put on the
just
show?
interacting with people, and especially as they were getting a little bit more inebriated, I would kind of play into that, and just as a spirited guy, I just really enjoyed those interactions, and just the beer here, just being a wild man, and I loved it. But I had a job, and I was I was happy as can be. If that was the rest of my life, I would have been so stoked on it. I was having the best time.
Yeah.
And life was great. So the fact that the rest of this stuff has happened to me has just been an absolute cherry on the top, and it's continued to just progressively unravel right in front of me. And I feel like there's something presented to me. Doors are there, and I walk through them, and I try to do it as gracefully as possible and figure things out as I go. But my life has felt that way, as if door after door after door keeps opening, and I just walk through them. But so Jason kind of got this started.
Shout out, Jason.
Shout out,
that is
he
so
knows,
cool.
He knows I love him.
Yeah.
I hit him up quarterly just to tell him, hey man, I got this going on in my life, and I don't know that it would have ever happened unless I met you.
Yeah.
So thank you.
And now you're kind of paying it forward, kind of how I equate it. So he helped you realize kind of your potential, and now you're paying that forward to other people, right?
Yeah,
what their
for
bodies
sure.
and their minds are capable of. So of course, CrossFit,
Yeah.
right? So
I was teaching free classes in the park.
Okay.
Free functional fitness classes. Had almost 100 people that were regularly coming through this program.
What park?
Gosh, what park is it? Do you remember where Trevor Frericks lived and Jay Nissen?
Yes.
You know that park that's right next to there in the entrance?
Uh-huh.
It's that one. I forget what
You're
park
talking about
that is.
near Curved Creek. I can't think of the park either.
Gosh, I can't remember it either.
I don't know. But it's here in town.
It's here in town.
Yeah.
But I was doing that, and had great support from people in the park, and I was just progressively buying more and more equipment, and then before you know it, with a little bit of that and a little bit of Jason and a little bit of me, and also at the time had some partners too, opened up Q-Town Fitness in 2012.
Yeah.
At the time, I wasn't really expecting that there would be another athletic career ahead of me. I thought those days were behind me. I finished playing football at Western Illinois, and it was time to get into the real world. And found out about CrossFit through my cousin, who is really big into it. She was a really good athlete in the sport for a while, and so I was like, all right, maybe I'll open a CrossFit gym. And I did that too because there seemed to be some, in terms of a business plan and a business model, some of that already in place.
It was already baked in, sure.
So it made it a little bit easier to kind of to start it.
Sure,
Because
as a
you
foundation.
had, you had all these models available to you, So yeah, opened up a CrossFit gym in 2012. Had my cousin chirping in my ear to go compete in CrossFit. I was like, oh, I'll do a CrossFit competition. And man, I thought I was like so fit and in such great shape because I was a football player.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Like, I thought it was, couldn't get any fitter than that. But I went and did a competition. I did really, really good in some things, but I did really bad in some other things. But good enough in some things where I was like, okay, like I think I might be able to do this.
Yeah.
And then when I found out that you could make money doing it, I got really incentivized to work on the things I wasn't good at, and then my career just took off rapidly after that. It went from not knowing at all what I was doing to winning competitions, podium at the World Championships in CrossFit with my wife Jennifer. But yeah, shortly after I opened the CrossFit gym, I moved to Cincinnati, Ohio, because things were kind of taking off with the CrossFit stuff, and I wanted to get like professional coaching, so like a mentor, someone could help me out a little bit and guide me, and at the time too, that's where like the best athletes in the world were training. So I was like, if I want to be the best, I should probably go be around the best and compete against the best, and it continued to just take off and take off and take off, and yeah, it's just. And it's weird. It's starting to slow down for me a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, I'm about to be 38 years old. It's getting harder
God,
and harder.
old man. I'm kidding.
It's getting harder and harder to keep up with 20-year-olds.
He keeps making his posts. I'm inching closer and closer to my 40s. Does that scare you?
Or
is there some kind of
like getting older has definitely been an enjoyable. I love tinkering, and I love the constant. Like process of figuring out like what my needs are as like not only an athlete but just as a human, period. And it just, as you age, things change and your needs become a little bit more different, and I enjoy that process of figuring out like what's best for me and what's going to allow me to have like the most optimal being possible.
So it's like a big age game, and it's
I enjoy it.
You're like, you know what? Let's see what this next year brings. I'll deal with that too, and then overcome it all.
But it is weird, no longer competing like at the the highest level.
So you do not compete anymore.
I do still compete.
Okay.
So in 2023, I was the fittest 35 to 39-year-old on Earth. And then
on Earth,
on the planet.
Wow, Sam.
And then I had the goal of trying to be the oldest male to ever qualify in the open division, which is against all the 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
Didn't qualify, so I was like, oh, I don't think I want to go through. It's rigorous, like it is. And the older I get, the less willing I am to like suffer.
Yeah, put yourself like, especially in like harm's way. You don't want to hurt yourself trying to be.
That too.
Yeah.
And that too, as a father and a husband, like I tore my bicep in 2022, and that really that hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't able to like pick my daughter up. Jenny, my wife, was having to, kind of pick up for the things that I couldn't do.
Sure.
So I definitely made it a point from there on out that I was never going to do anything in regards to my training that wouldn't allow me to be an excellent father and an excellent husband. So if I was coming home like so sore and tired that I didn't have the energy to pick my daughter up, that wasn't going to cut it. So I'm past that point of putting myself into that type of environment, which you kind of have to do to prepare yourself. So yeah, I'm getting a little further and further away from the willingness to do that, both personally with myself, but also just because my responsibilities as a husband, father, business owner, and all that stuff.
Yeah, you mentioned your wife. Did you guys meet? So it's Jenny, right? Did you guys meet during your comeuppance into fitness and CrossFit?
It hadn't quite. It was just getting started.
Okay.
I actually remember telling her, I was like, hey, I'm gonna go like train for the CrossFit Games, and I want to try to win them. She's like, okay.
She's like, good luck, buddy.
Good luck.
Yeah.
But so she got to watch that kind of unfold too, and see me kind of break into the sport and have success with that, and she did too. She had phenomenal success. We got to stand on the podium together twice, which is
incredible.
You know, one of my fondest memories, getting to do that with her. But yeah, we met right in the. It was like we met a few days after I got my eye surgery. If that kind of gives you some idea of the timeline.
Okay.
So, like right after Jason, my manager was like, "Yo, we're gonna get you this eye surgery. You're gonna go put together a business plan. You got some time off. Go to work."
Yeah.
She was meeting me right when I was like starting to go to work on all that, and shortly after became heavily involved in that process.
Yeah.
But you
That's so
knew
cool.
her, or you knew
Not-
of her
I
before
knew
that.
I mean,
You
gosh,
went to high school together,
I
Sam.
did not know her. I never met her. She's 4 years older than me.
Do you remember her playing soccer?
I remember
though,
the
and
name.
then like us watching.
I remember the name Jennifer Nobis.
Yes.
And I knew that she was.
So
I'm
we
not
went
sure
to Notre Dame together.
What language?
She was a badass. Any language. Yeah.
I knew that.
Yeah.
Like
Everyone knew when the girls' soccer, like, 'cause I was on the girls' soccer team for a while, and she was the one that you had to look out for, even though
she was the contender.
Yes.
Yes. She was the one.
So
Yes.
I knew the name, but we had never met, and we had some similar like friend groups, if you will. It was more so like I had friends that had older siblings that she would hang out with. So we may have very well
Ran
crossed
into each
paths
other.
or
Yeah.
like been at a similar house party or something like that.
That's weird.
But all things considered, no, I did
Yeah.
not know who she
Sure.
was. When I went to meet her for the first time, which is kind of wild, an acquaintance of both of ours had kind of connected us. He knew that she was coming home from Sweden. She was playing professional soccer at the time, and she was going to be coming home, and she was going to need a place or a person to train with.
Okay.
And I was training Jack Cornell at the time, who was
Okay.
looking to go into the draft and go play professional football. And so he just knew that I might be a good candidate for her to work with. And so when we had arranged to go meet at the gym, I didn't know who I was looking for. I was just scanning the room looking for a physique that I would assume would be a professional soccer player, which in her case it wasn't too difficult
Yeah.
to
Pretty easy to
identify.
pretty easy to pick out. Yeah.
So yeah, we didn't know each other.
But she's been there every step of the way since, right? And now you have a daughter. And it seems like you guys are just so tight knit, and you kind of all do you just do everything together.
Do everything together.
I love it.
Everything.
And one of those things. So you not only fostered your love for wellness and fitness into this business, but you took it a step further and turned it into kind of a passion project, right?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's odd. I haven't really been heavily involved in my business for the past 10 years.
Okay.
I've been pursuing professional CrossFit for the past 10 years. So
Sure.
I haven't even really lived in Quincy. My home base for the past 8-9 years has been San Diego.
Okay.
About 6 months out of the year, we live in San Diego, and then 6 months out of the year, we're in Quincy. And even when we're in Quincy, I'm traveling quite a bit. I'm doing like speaking engagements, I'm teaching, I'm running camps, doing international camps, I'm doing off-season competitions. So I wasn't even ever really home that much, even when I was. So now we're getting to a point where I'm finally like, I'm going to be 100% heavily invested and involved, not only in Q-Town Fitness, but also the Dancer Love Foundation, which is our non-for-profit that we started a few years ago. And what we do there is we essentially provide free wellness and fitness and training to individuals with special needs, but not necessarily even limited to that. It kind of was born out of that,
Sure.
but it's become a little bit broader than just. Originally, it started with individuals with Down syndrome, and it's grown well beyond that.
Sure.
So yeah, and we recently purchased the Roy Bennett building, just right down the street. Walked over there from a little demo project that I was just getting done.
Yet another thing that he's doing,
trying
right?
to clean up a little bit. And so yeah, Q-Town Fitness is going to be on the first floor. I also own a coffee company. We're going to open our first it's an online company. So we're going to be opening up our first brick and mortar location. That'll be on the first floor of Q-Town Fitness, opening up like a little spa type thing. And then we're putting Dancer Love on the second floor, along with a lot of it is just conceptions right now and ideas and dreams. So it's hard for me to really share exactly what the rest of it's going to look like, but we just know that we want it all to be wellness oriented.
Yeah.
I actually just met with a gentleman who runs a hip hop dance studio. I was like, that fits. I just want people to move their bodies.
Yeah.
I want people to feel good. I want people to learn something. So dance studio fits. And we have another non-for-profit that we partner with, Down in Country. Don't know if you're familiar with those guys.
Uh-huh.
They recently had the Rhinestones Rodeo event out at the Ambiance. And
Great
Kate,
organization.
Yeah, wonderful organization. Kate is renting space for us. That fits.
Yeah.
It's all kind of in the mix. So, and we got just a tall order. We have 5 floors over there, about 7,000 square feet on each floor, and it's a beautiful space. It's a wonderful shell. But yeah, we have a lot of work to do.
So much
Will the
stuff.
CrossFitters be using the elevator, or will they be taking
No,
the stairs?
no.
They take the stairs. I've been getting a lot of flack with the stairs. I'm like, I want people use the stairs, please, people. Come
The
on.
elevator is so cool.
It is really cool. It's like a museum piece. It is meticulously maintained and cared for, and it's a cool experience to
You
to
scored
get
a
on
good
that.
building.
Yeah, that's very cool. Maybe that can be their reward, an elevator ride down.
Yeah,
Maybe.
you go up, you can take the elevator.
Right,
down.
yeah.
But you are currently still looking for people to rent out spaces there?
Yeah, we have. Like I said, we have 5 floors, and each floor is 7,000 square feet. My dream for the 3rd floor is to get all sorts of wellness practitioners, chiropractors, massage therapists, marital counseling,
yoga studios.
Yoga studios, spin
how would
classes.
people reach out to you if they're interested in maybe?
Yeah,
doing something?
honestly, the best point of contact is going to be my wife, Jennifer Dancer.
Okay.
You can find her information on our Q-Town Fitness page. You can find her information on Facebook, on Instagram. She is very responsive and very well organized, and she's definitely the best person to be in contact with.
While you're over here tearing shit down and,
that's
getting stuff ready. I get it.
She's good at that.
She's got the business side. You're taking the manual stuff right now.
I handle the crowbar.
I love it. So tell me a little bit more about the non-for-profit. Is Dancer Love? Okay.
Yep.
So when I was getting my hair done, I was getting all of this information. I was like, this is so cool. So I Googled, and it's heartwarming the minute you open this webpage, right? But there's one guy that stands out in particular, and that's
Foster.
James.
Legend.
Yeah, and I am immediately just want to hug this guy.
I know.
Okay, so tell Brittany a little bit, because I don't want to screw anything up. But this guy's
I know
just
who James
you
is.
do.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I followed.
you do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
local legend.
Okay. I didn't know this, so now I'm ashamed that I didn't know this, but give me a little information about James from your perspective.
Yeah, so James is one of my absolute best friends. We've known each other for, probably going on near 10 years now. And as I had mentioned, everything was kind of born out of that relationship.
Yeah.
We originally were just trying to, with Q-Town Fitness, we were trying to make sure that it's easy to provide fitness and wellness to people who are generally fit and generally well. As soon as you start to get special cases and unique needs, things change a little bit. And so we went on kind of this little rampage where we were specifically recruiting individuals who are paralyzed from the waist down, neck down, people who are missing body parts, people who were maybe blind or deaf or mute, just any unique case, or morbidly obese, We had I had a very large lady who was in a wheelchair who couldn't, take a 1-inch step up a box, and basically building programs around this people, pilot programs, if you will, learning what's going to be the best way to progressively train them and not overwork them and not underwork them. Like, we want to still push them and get to the bottom of what is it going to take to make sure that fitness is available to everybody.
Yeah, all-inclusive.
So that's really where Dancer Love Foundation was born. Is we wanted to make sure that fitness was available to everyone. We did not care if it was a financial reason, if it was a cognitive limitation, a physical limitation. We want you to know what it feels like to feel really damn good, and to be like your absolute best. And things with James specifically started to take off the most relative to all of our other kind of pilot clients at that time. And then we just started, we'd get another, and we get another, and we get another. And at the time, a friend of ours, Heather Davis, was renting space out of our building, and she was the area director for Special Olympics. And I would constantly kind of hear her griping about Special Olympics in regards to funding issues.
Sure.
So I stepped in. I was like, "Yo, how much money do you need? Like, let's go raise some money." I was like, "Do you need $60,000? Like, what is it? How much?" And she's like, "Sam, I don't have a number for you. I just we don't have funding.
We just need more.
We just need more." I was like, "All right, let's go do a fundraiser and raise some money for you." And that's when the row raiser started.
Yeah.
And we planned the row raiser in a matter of weeks. I think we raised like $20,000-ish our first time. Donated it all to Special Olympics, and we did that again, and we did it again.
How many years are you on that?
Ooh, probably close. I mean, it pretty much started when we met James, so roughly, I would say 9 to 10-ish years. And we were donating, we donated a lot of money to Special Olympics, but we never really felt the effects of the money that we were raising.
Right.
So that's when we decided that we were just going to start our own non-for-profit and make sure that those funds went directly to our, Quincy most specifically, but also any, as far out as we can kind of reach. And we've reached pretty far. It became I would call it a national fundraiser for a second. It went too fast.
Yeah.
We were growing rapidly, and we kind of pulled back the reins a little bit and put our focus back into Quincy. And now it's starting to grow and expand again to where we're getting multiple locations, like in Austin, Texas, San Diego, up in Minnesota and Michigan. So we're starting to grow again and build that back up. But now we have roughly, I think, about 40 athletes in the program. It became a spatial issue, a time issue, because they're essentially taking space from Q-Town Fitness, and that's really what pays the bills. And we have classes pretty much all day, so they're really limited with the time slots that are available. So finding a location that would be suitable for both Q-Town Fitness and the Dancer Love Foundation has been on our radar for quite some time now. And we've just been being patient, and I've looked at so many buildings in Quincy, and that thing popped up down the street. And I was like,
you're like, get it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's go. We're going to do it. It's not great timing, and it happened really, really fast. And we were not prepared for it.
Huge undertaking.
Yeah, a very big undertaking, in a lot of ways. Just like the amount of work, like physically, that I have to do on it, and then financially, there's a lot. We're very fortunate that we have some good donors and people who are stepping up to support that project. They're making it a little bit easier to not freak out as much.
Sure.
But yeah, it's I'm doing my best again, like I've kind of mentioned earlier, to walk
through the
it
door. That's
grace.
what I was going to
and
say.
to do it with joy.
Yeah. It may take a little
but-
longer than anyone, wants it to, but I think it is that door that you just walk through, and eventually it's all going to work out. And
It always does.
It is.
Yeah.
We like
Right?
Quincy means so much to Jen and I. We've as much as we love to travel and we love like being out in California, it's been on our hearts the entire time, and still to this day, like heavily to breathe life and culture into Quincy. And especially now that we have a child, it's even more so ignited that. We want to leave even more of a legacy. We want to provide even more, not only it is for her, but for other parents too.
Setting example, yeah, for
we
sure.
we want whenever we travel, we go to these small towns, not just big. I'm not talking big cities. I'm talking.
well, let's talk about
small
that.
towns.
Where'd you just get back from?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
just
I'm
got
like,
back.
I think I need to get into.
Yeah, you can probably see it on my
Yeah, I was like,
skin
yeah?
a little bit.
Man,
Yeah,
he's so
Thailand and
dark.
Bali. I had a work trip in Thailand, and then we took our first family vacation that was not work related in Indonesia over in Bali.
So I noticed you said your work trip was adult time. Did you have your daughter there?
She was there. We had a nanny.
Okay.
We
'Cause I
got to
was like,
see her at the
Did
end.
you come back and get her? and
Yeah,
then
we got
go?
to see her at the end of the night. So Jen and I were there as essentially coaches. It was a wellness retreat, and partnered with Lauren Fisher and Rasmus Anderson, who have grown strong retreats. So
Cool.
Lauren Fisher has been a teammate of mine, a training partner of mine. We've coached together all over the world together for like the past 10 years, so very well acquainted with her, and she asked us to be on staff for one of her retreats, and the essence of the retreats are basically to kind of just set the tone for what does a day look like when if you're training the way that we train, eat the way that we eat, and sleep the way that we sleep, and also we like to enjoy ourselves too and adventure the way we adventure. So we basically have a standard operating procedure for that, and people come in for a week and we enlighten them on what that SOP looks like so that they can take it home with them and they can share it with their family, and they can unleash it on themselves.
The people that you were teaching
Yeah.
were from Thailand?
No, they're from all over the country.
All over, yeah.
So were there language barriers?
No. So we had with us a wonderful guide, if you will. Her name was Jo, born and raised in Phuket, and it really eliminated any issues that you could have. And honestly, with Google Translate these days,
Yeah.
it's pretty easy to get along and get on your way pretty much anywhere.
Yeah. Very cool.
What was
I
your
love-
favorite thing in Bali on your family vacation?
Gosh,
pick
each of
one.
we all asked each other this, and one of our favorite memories was actually the scooter rides. Their streets are not much bigger than our sidewalks. So the streets are 5 wide
gosh.
with scooters, and there's zero road rage over there. I didn't know this, but Indonesia and Thailand are, I'll get this wrong, but coined the smile capital of the world. The happiest people
I've heard that.
live
Yeah.
in Indonesia and Thailand. So there's no road rage happening. Everyone's working together and everyone's very pleasant. You got families of 4 on these scooters with babies, no helmets, no car seats, and it is
People here would have a
I know,
shit fit.
I know. It is like a
Yes.
fight for your life
Yeah.
on these scooters, but at the same time, everyone's
What's
kind
the
of
life expectancy
working.
over there?
Yeah, right?
right?
How many people are dying on scooters? But you're never really going fast enough. Give you this, for instance. The airport was 3.5 miles away from the place that we were staying in
Okay.
Bali. It takes 90 minutes
Oh,
to
wow.
get 3.5 miles.
Oh yeah, see,
On,
take me over there. I'd create some road rage. I'm
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
and that's if it's a good day. It could take as much as 2 to 3 hours to make it that far. Tiny little streets, tons of people, but the scooters were fun. We got to hang out with some elephants. That was definitely like a core memory for us. And just honestly being embedded into their culture. They're so happy. They're so they love children.
Yeah.
When we were at the airport, they make announcements over the intercom to like remind you of how much you need to care for and watch out for children and the elderly.
Yeah.
And you see it. Like every time we would go to like a new place, someone would grab Star's hand and show her around and sit down with her and you know, even though there's a language barrier, still try to talk to her.
Yeah.
And just so incredibly sweet to children. And just even if you're not a child or the elderly, still just the most incredibly gracious and nice people ever.
Yeah.
And that was quite a treat. So it made it quite a culture shock kind of coming back.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
flying into Chicago and
you're like,
people being
listen, if that guy grabs your hand, you do not go, right? Yeah, that's how I'm thinking. I'd be like,
80% of people in Bali, like 80% of their income comes from tourism. So that's probably another reason why they're so happy is because this is their livelihood, you know?
Yeah. So you're traveling, you're learning things, you're taking things that you know abroad, but you're also bringing things back to the heart of our community, which is outstanding.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead. Yeah, I think that's very respectful, very, it's just really, really cool.
Yeah, we'd see that so much.
Yeah.
And not even, like I mentioned, I don't expect Quincy to be a Los Angeles, a Chicago, you know, a San Diego, a big city. I don't expect it to be like Bali. But we can do better, and I've seen it when I travel even here, you know, domestically, and I go to these small towns and I see the culture that they have, and I see what they're doing and the services that they're providing and the activities that they have available for the parents and for the children, and whenever we travel, we're just like, why not us? Why not Quincy? And like, you know, it's recently we were coming back from Bali. And we were on the train, and we were at last stop in Macomb, and I was sleeping, and I hear Jenny, and I'm kind of like, I'm in the dream, but I'm also like kind of aware of what's going on, and they're kind of merging, and I hear Jenny say, why isn't somebody doing anything? Why isn't somebody doing anything? Like, somebody do something. And there was this young girl who was getting beat up by like 6 people, and I wake up, and I go out there, eventually I break this fight up, but that why isn't somebody doing something?
Yeah.
We said that for the longest time. Like, why isn't somebody doing something in Quincy? Do something. Like, can't we do something cool here? And it's just kind of like, we're somebody.
Yeah.
We are somebody. Like, so we're going to do something.
Own it.
And
very cool.
yeah, like, and it's happening. You see it. You know, we have the Children's Museum happening. We have like the View downtown. We have Crazy Town. Like, things are happening.
Yeah.
So I don't want to make it sound like
It's baby steps.
Yeah, nobody's doing anything. And now that I'm like getting involved with it, I understand.
You're like, well,
I have a little bit more grace towards
it
like.
It doesn't just happen.
Yeah, it does not just happen.
And a building is a huge undertaking.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through and things that you got to get, you know, stamps of approval through the city. So like, I understand the nature of it a little bit more now. But yeah, we want to participate in breathing life and culture into Quincy. We love this place. Quincy will always be our home and what we call home base. And we really, really look forward to spending. It looks like it'll be a long time before the wellness tower is ever like fully complete and operational.
I think it'll always be developing too, from how you run business. Last question. Can I do it?
100%.
Okay, because
you know I
have to wrap up.
Yeah, you know I have like 6 more.
I know
we're not going there. I'm going to let you have that last one. Not let you.
I have nowhere to be.
You can have the last one, but you're going to have to come back because I have so many more questions about health and wellness.
But
I know. Go for it. And after our big plan, we're definitely going to have you come back.
Please.
Okay.
Actually, I think we're on the schedule, Jen and I, for like next week.
Sweet.
Jen's going to be on Frankie Say with her.
Okay.
So we got a little dancer here.
Perfect.
A little dance, but this is the first time you've been on any of our podcasts, right?
Yeah. Very cool.
First time.
All right. So
rookie.
Well, welcome. You've done a phenomenal job. I'm really
Yes.
excited to hear your last question. Better make it a freaking good one, Britt.
It's not that great.
Yes, it is.
All right, so
have a backup.
football. Duh.
Yeah.
Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Oh, man. This might disappoint you. I know the Chiefs are in it.
You don't know who the other person is?
Don't know who the other team is.
You're telling me that I know more about the Super Bowl than Sam Dancer, who used to play football. Is this true? Well, you are a busy guy.
Once football was done,
you were done with it.
It just like, and I
now on to the
I
next
actually
thing,
I went back recently for a Hall of Fame weekend. One of my roommates and teammates, Matt Barr, was inducted into the Hall of Fame,
Cool.
and he called on a bunch of his friends and asked if we'd like to come. And so I got to see my old head coach, both of them, and we just got to talking a little bit. And I was like, now that I'm back here and I'm talking with everyone and reliving some of this, I was like, I don't know that I ever really loved football.
Yeah.
I
Probably something that
enjoyed
you were like,
I
oh.
enjoyed the camaraderie. I enjoyed
You enjoyed Q&D football?
I enjoyed the physicality. I enjoyed
The team aspect
and now that I'm where I am now today, what I've realized, I enjoyed the training. I enjoyed the practice.
There you go.
Like it's a lot of times even. I'll tell you, one of Star's, my daughter, her favorite part of all of our trips.
Great name, by the way.
I know.
She great story behind that, by the way. Wild story. That we'll save that for.
Yeah, I was gonna say
maybe
I see
off
so
air.
much stuff. Yeah.
But we asked her what her favorite part was, and she said the to and from. She loved the travel, and oftentimes the journey is the reward. A lot of times, and I find that to be very true, especially looking back at all my kind of like athletic endeavors. If you, sure, it's cool staying on the podium with your wife. Sure, it's cool being crowned like the fittest on earth and all that stuff. But the core memories that I have and the things that I cherish the most is the training, is the people I trained with, the all the time that was spent preparing for a short moment. And especially going, when you travel to like Indonesia and Thailand, it is a trek to get there. You're almost spending one-to-one time of travel.
How many days of travel is it?
It was, we basically in total to get there and come back, you're looking at like 2.5 days. We had like a 5-hour train ride, a layover in Chicago, from the train to the airplane, a 16-hour flight from Chicago to Hong Kong, 12-hour layover there, and then another 5-hour flight to Bali, and then a 3-hour car ride to your place. It's a lot. And
it's a lot for an adult. I can't imagine a child.
She loved it.
She loved it.
It was her favorite.
That's incredible.
Part, and I think it's because it was
you
the
guys
only
together
time
and-
she had us locked in.
Yeah.
She had mom and dad sitting on both
Quality
sides
time.
of her, and unlimited movies, snacks. That was her favorite, was the journey to and from. So
Love that.
I too share a similar sentiment in that regard, that I like the journey. I like the practice. I like the grind. I love all that stuff. And I don't know that I necessarily even really loved football. I loved the the preparation.
Yeah. Well, it's the Eagles. That's the other team. Okay.
I know who the Eagles are.
All right. Okay. So you don't have to tell us who you hope, because obviously it doesn't really matter.
I think I have an answer.
Okay.
I get tagged all the time in Saquon Barkley
I was gonna
photos, and people tell me all the time that I'm built like him.
Yeah.
And I have seen some phenomenal, that guy is an incredible athlete.
Yeah.
And I think it's awesome to witness a dynasty, and to watch a team like the Kansas City Chiefs be as successful as they have been. But I used to even live in Kansas City, grew up a Chiefs fan, but I'm gonna have to go for the underdog here, if they even are. I don't know enough about their records and their personnel to be able to give you an accurate answer on this, and then also with so many people telling me that I'm built like Saquon Barkley, I'm gonna go.
You're going Eagles.
I'm gonna go for the Eagles.
All right,
and
cool.
I might catch a little flack
No,
for that.
I think you're good, because it's bound to be an incredible game, and regardless of the outcome, it's going to be, it's going to be incredible.
I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I will. This will be my first
All right.
first
I don't
football
believe you.
game of the season.
I don't believe you. You're going to be busting your ass down at the building.
We'll probably be at that building.
Yeah, you will. So we'll clue you in on who wins. But I think this has been so intriguing, so enlightening. I'm glad I got to sit down and talk with you.
Yeah,
I'm glad that you already knew. I didn't know. I mean,
He's great.
just awesome. So thank you
I
for.
knew it was going to be great.
Yeah, thank you for getting him on here. Thank you for joining us. I look forward to see what you accomplish in the future. Congrats to you and Jenny and Star on everything that you've accomplished and everything that you're bringing to this community. I think that it's something truly incredible, and I hope that you continue.
Love Quincy. Love you guys. It was a pleasure being here.
Absolutely.
And cheers to the journey. And I look forward to hopefully coming back soon.
You got to come back. We got lots more
I would
questions.
love to.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully everybody enjoyed it as much as we did. But thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.